Center, face. Ready, seat.
So we might agree, tough training, right? So one of my lead instructors was reminding me, as we sometimes forget, the training is so tough that this class actually started with 40 individuals, okay? So it required 450 hours of training. That means preparation before they get here. That means that despite how they were feeling, despite what was going on in their personal lives, that they had to put that to the side and focus on the task at hand. You saw a synopsis of the training, but I want you to know, the training is dangerous. They're learning to use dangerous equipment. They're learning how to approach dangerous situations. We had to make them the best that they could possibly be, because once they're on the job, their knowledge, their abilities, and quite frankly, their heart, their drive is the only thing that can protect them. And I can tell you, as the program manager and a former fire chief, that I feel 100% comfortable and confident in each and every person that's up on this stage. I'm looking forward to the day that they are in units around the county or the state, because that means we are going to be better protected. And I want to give you a hand again for supporting them, such an elite class. Now we're almost done with our ceremony. We're at the perhaps the most important part, and I'm going to ask them to come to attention in a few minutes and to recite the firefighter's oath. They did that in the video, and this oath is significant because firefighters take it throughout the country. And in the oath, we state, as soon-to-be sworn firefighters, what they're willing to do in the protection of the community. So I want you to hear the words that they are pledging, the oath that they're taking, and the commitment. They're pledging to put their lives on the line to save people that they don't even know. I don't know about you, but that's pretty significant. That's the highest level of public service that you can serve other than the military. Okay, so at this time,
Class 19136, that's it. Up. Firefighters out.
Firefighters out, man! Sir, I do solemnly swear that I will obey the Constitution of the United States and state of Florida. I will hold the most and duty above personal wish. I will count sincerity and service above personal comfort and convenience. And I will strive unceasingly to find better ways to protect the lives, homes, and properties of my fellow citizens from the ravages of fire and other disasters, sir.
excellent. I don't know about you, but I believe them. They sounded enthusiastic and worthy of the commitment. At this time, please sit.
Ready, seat.
Okay, so we've come to the conclusion of our ceremony. I'm going to make a few more remarks, and at the end, we have refreshments outside for your pleasure. But before we conclude this ceremony, there's a tradition in the fire service, and there's symbols that signify this tradition, and I want to educate you a little bit on what that is, including the class. On their uniforms, the badges that they wear, and actually the badges of some of the individuals here in the fire service, there's a badge called the Maltese Cross. Perhaps you've heard of it, but it's on fire trucks, it's on uniforms. I'm going to tell you a little bit about that, and this is geared not only towards the class, but for you so that you understand the symbolism, the commitment, and the excellence service. So this is the Maltese Cross. Maltese Cross is known around the world as the symbol of the fire service. It is often seen painted on fire trucks, on the clothing of firefighters, and depicted on firefighter badges. So where did the Maltese Cross come from, and how did it get to be known as a symbol of the fire service? The badge of the firefighter is the Maltese Cross. The Maltese Cross is both a symbol of protection and a badge of honor. Its story is hundreds of years old. When a courageous band of crusaders known as the Knights of St. John fought the Saracens for the right to possess the Holy Land, they encountered a new weapon that was previously unknown to the European warriors that preceded them. This new weapon was a crudely simple but very effective and horrible device of war. It brought terrible pain and agonizing death to the many of the fighters for the cross. The Saracens' weapon was fire. As the Crusaders advanced on the walls of the city, they were struck by glass capsules containing naphtha. When the knights became saturated with this highly flammable liquid, the Saracens shot fiery arrows into the midst of the army. Hundreds of knights lost their lives in this brutal act. The others risked their own lives to protect and save their brothers in arms from a horrible fiery death. Thus, these brave men that fought for the lives of their brothers became our first firefighters and the first of a long list of courageous firefighters. These heroic men were recognized by their fellow crusaders, and each hero was honored with a badge of honor, a cross similar to the one the firefighters wear today, a badge of courage, a badge of honor, a badge of bravery. Since the Knights of St. John lived for close to 4 centuries on a little island in the Mediterranean Sea named Malta, the cross came to be known as the Maltese Cross. This badge came to be known as the Maltese Cross. Because the Maltese Cross is a symbol of protection, it means that the firefighter that wears it is willing to protect and lay down his or her own life for the safety of his brother or sister, just as the Crusaders did centuries ago. The Maltese Cross is a badge of honor, signifying that he or she works in courage, a ladder's rung away from death. The Maltese Cross has 8 points. Each of the 8 points have a very distinguished and deep meaning. The first point of the cross stands for gallantry. Gallantry is defined as an act of marked courtesy as well as spirited and conspicuous bravery. A firefighter must project gallantry in appearance, dressed at all times, and looking as gallant, brave soul, even in the face of danger. The second point is that of sympathy. Sympathy is described as feelings of pity and sorrow for someone else's misfortune. This is crucial in the aspect that a firefighter must be able to relate to the victim or patient in order to give the best possible care available, while at the same time keeping an appropriate level of professionalism. The third point of the cross is that of tact. Tact is the keen sense of what to do and say in order to maintain good relations with others and to avoid offense. This is necessary in order to maintain a proper level of professionalism. The fourth point of the course is observation. A firefighter must hone his observation skills in order to avoid unnecessary danger and hazards. The fifth point is that of perseverance. Perseverance is needed in order to be able to complete a mission. Firefighters never quit on the mission or on their colleagues. The sixth point is that of loyalty. Loyalty is one of the most important points on the cross. You must have loyalty to yourself, your partner, to your station, to the brotherhood and sisterhood. The seventh point is that of dexterity. Dexterity is a mental skill that involves quickness, readiness, and grace in physical activity. This means that you must maintain a level of mental and physical ability to do your job and to do it properly. The last of the 8 points is that of explicitness. Explicitness is the ability to leave no question in meaning or intent. This means that you should know what you're doing and know when to do it, and be confident in your actions. The Maltese Cross is steeped in tradition from the Knights of the St. John to the firefighters of modern day. The equipment and the people have changed over the years, but the soul of the men and women that have put their lives on the line for their brothers and sisters have not. The badge still has the meaning of bravery, honor, and courage. This badge is the Maltese Cross. So I wanted you to know about this tradition. I wanted you to know the symbols that you wear, and I wanted your families to know it, because that symbol, that cross, and the oath you just took, it bonds us forever. So what that means is that you now forever belong to us as firefighters, and we forever belong to you. So when you eventually are in a department and you even see your uniform and your badge in your closet, I want you to think about what I've said. I want you to think about everybody that's come before you, everybody that will come after you, and think about how you will influence not only the profession, but the people that you touch every time you look at that uniform. And I know I'm going to speak for every firefighter that's here. They take exceptional pride in their uniform because they know it means the highest level of service. It's a ministry of sorts. So please take it seriously. Remember what you stand for, and I wish you the very best. Let's give him one more round of applause. Now, because these bonds go much deeper than you could even imagine, I'm going to take a point of privilege because there's somebody in the audience who I believe I've influenced, and he's influenced me. As a matter of fact, I was his recruit instructor from class 69. He's made a personal journey. Not only was he a firefighter, but he decided to go into the priesthood, and I'm so proud of him. He's taken his courage to another world, a spiritual world, and we are in need of spiritual guidance. And I know if he serves in his capacity as a member of the clergy, as he did as a firefighter, we are indeed in good hands. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask my good friend, fellow firefighter who became a priest. He was ordained quite recently, a couple of weeks ago. I'm going to ask you to do something that's unprecedented. I'm going to ask you to close us in prayer with some words for this class. So please come up, El Concierge. This was unexpected. As a matter of fact, he was a firefighter with Miami-Dade Fire Rescue. So you talk about how life is and your spiritual journey, or you could be a firefighter and wind up as a priest. My friend Elkinson.
Thank you very much. Special to be here because he was my instructor 27 years ago, right before Hurricane Andrew hit us when we started our class. And I spent 21 years with the fire department at busy stations. And no matter where you work, where it's the beach, the county, the city, it's the same fire, the same people that need our help. And I've told my nephew, Vincent Palacios, and I hope he tells the rest, like Chief has said, to see this ministry, to see his job as a ministry, not as a job to pay the bills, when you give yourself to your comrades in the station and to those who need you, who call you, and to hopefully make them better than how you found them when they first called. And no matter what's wrong with them, how trivial it may seem, they're scared. And to persevere, my friends, to persevere and give that look, that smile, that touch of comfort that might be more valuable than all the fire knowledge you know and all the paramedic knowledge you'll learn later on, at that moment with one of God's children right in front of you. Lord, we ask you to protect these men and women as they fight for the safety of your children out in the streets. We ask you to protect their families, keep their families hopeful, console their families when they worry, because there will be times when the family calls one of these firefighters on the phone. This firefighter will not respond perhaps for hours, and there will be the worry, there will be the trial. God, keep everybody safe as they minister to your children. Amen.
Amen.
And one more acknowledgement, that video that you saw, and it speaks to the many talents of the people in this group, but it was put together by a class member. Mr. Borges, would you stand, please?
There's also Vincent Palacios and David Abdul.
Stand up. Very nice, and you see how they've transformed. They automatically think team first, not self, and I applaud you. All right, so that will conclude our ceremony. They're going to leave in the recessional. I ask you to please stand one more time for the recessional, and then you can join us outside after they leave. Class 19136, attention.